Hey everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. Um, I hope you guys are being safe. We're gonna do a series on giving you information about the new changes that's coming to FICO. I'm on the road. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm trying to adjust my light because it's a little dark in here. So hopefully you can hear my sound well. And where I am, my reception is just a little bit off. So I'm connected to the hotel's um, Wi-Fi. So hopefully this goes well. But we're gonna jump right into it because I don't believe in taking up too much of your time if all possible. So what we're gonna talk about is the new changes. If you're not aware or if you haven't heard the news, FICO is rolling out a new scoring model. So you'll hear it called FICO 10 and 10T. So, what this is doing, it's for the CRAs. If you don't know that phrase, the CRAs are really what you call the credit bureaus, but there are the credit reporting agencies. So, LexisNexis also would be considered a CRA. Now, when you have FICO, FICO is the Fair Isaac Company. So it's a software that they supply to the bureaus, almost like where you would use Microsoft or Apple. You know, some people are really into Apple products and they use their software. So if you ever had an Apple, an iPad, different things, their software work a distinct way than Microsoft works. So you have that kind of scoring model, that kind of software. Now, there also is what's called the Vantage software. You know, that is used by Credit Karma and I believe Credit Wise and some of those other models that people monitor their credit. It is not a FICO score. So you have to keep that in mind. If you go to a lender or if you think or you're basing, your credit score off of that model, you could be seriously surprised because they judge factors differently, just really on the weight of certain items, on how the scoring model is calculating that. FICO has its own calculation that is different than what you would have with a Vantage score. So, major lending institution, about 90% is going to use a FICO version of a score. Now, also understand when we're saying FICO 10, FICO 10T, these are different scoring models that's produced by the same company. So take let's say iPhone. Many people are iPhone users, and there's different updates to the software. They just updated to ISO 13, but there's 12, and there's 11, and there's 9, 8. These are the same company, same kind of software, but different variations of the update. So is what's going on with the new version of FICO. Okay, so you got the three major credit bureaus that will have this. Now, will banking institutions, which is their customers, want to use that version? It remains to be seen. Usually, they're going to implement it. The credit bureaus are going to have an access or running this software or have this version of software for their customers, which is the banks, the lenders, available as June after June, after June 1st. Now, Whether their customers, just like you, are going to take that update of ISO and download it is a whole nother situation. Just like with you, you might like how your ISO 12 is running software, ISO 11, and you could be resistant to making that update because what you have going on, how you have can use that software for if you're running a business or if you just a simple customer, you don't sometimes want to implement something new, learn something new, the same way with lenders. So they may not necessarily pick up on this software. We saw that with FICO 9. FICO 9, before that it was FICO 8. FICO 9 rolled out, and a lot of the credit unions began to pick that up, like a Navy Fed. But the majority of lenders did not use that version. The most common version that is used currently to date will be a FICO 8. Okay, so if you want to keep that in mind, understand if you're going for a mortgage, even with the lenders, they did not update like being, with FHA loans, certain banking lenders for mortgages use FICO 2 and 4. They stayed with the older versions. So different versions have different variations for different factors to understand who you are as a credit risk, how you handle your money financially. So now with FICO 10 and 10T, it's going to be more artificial intelligence really to try to hone in on what your spending habits and how you live your life, which will be much different. And we're going to go into some of those details. Now, one thing that's going to stay the same factors that they judge will be the same, but two key major differences would be added in. Number one, what's going to make up 35% of your credit score is payment history, how you paid your bills in the past. Two, utilization. So what is your debt to your available credit lines, okay? How much of that you're using, utilization. Number three, age of history, which is going to, utilization, by the way, is 30%. So you have late payment history, 35, utilization, 30%. Those are the two big areas. So we're at 65%. And then they look at age of credit age, which is third. That makes up 15%. And then you have mix of credit, which would be 10%. And then you also have new credit. So those are going to be your factors, okay? And mix of credit 10% and new credit 10%. So keep that in mind. So run it down. Payment history, utilization, age of credit, mix of credit, new credit. So those categories will stay the same. But the key difference that FICO 10 and FICO 10T is going to overlay, which is going to cause a big changes to about 80 million credit scores. So if you are below 600, you will definitely see a decrease in your credit score. If you are actually under what they're predicting, a 680, which would be considered as good credit, you're going to see maybe a 20-point drop in your credit score. Now, I know a lot of people with what they call bad credit or poor credit will say, well, Sherry, why should I care? My credit is already bad. What why can it get any worse? And I'll, really simply tell you, it's like saying you have a flat tire on your car and you like, well, I got a flat right now. I can't go nowhere. What I care for. So are you going to go and just pop the other three tires to make your situation worse? This is the reason why people need education, because what they're doing with this new system, you can make your situation way worse, even with bad credit. And here is the key. When it comes down to payment history, what they're going to start doing, payments, that late payments is going to equate for even more points. So right now, if you make a late payment, depending on how your credit score is, that, as I use the phrase, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Usually, the higher your credit score, the more of an impact anything negative hits your credit report. Right now, you can, for one late payment, lose up to 50 points just for one late payment. Now, with this new system, they are going to take more points away for late payments. So it's going to have a greater impact for late payment history. So, you know, this is what I'm saying about, you must educate yourself, because that old system, you know, things get better along with when you pass that 3 month period. The way it is now with those scoring models, you might not see a total increase, but it's going to ease up. You'll see your score begins to creep back up after 3 months of a late payment, which is about 90 days. And then 6 months, you'll see it get better and it'll ease. And when you get to a year, it, it's not much of an impact. And then when you pass 2 years, it really doesn't affect your score at that point. But with this new model, they're going to deduct more points for late payments, all in general. So you have to keep that in mind moving forward to safeguard yourself. At this point, you really need to watch and make sure you make your payments on time with your credit cards. Even if you have to do auto pay, you do that, because you do not want missed payments. Because if they roll this over on you and lenders start to roll this out, you're going to see a decrease in your credit score if you have that problem. People with co-signers, who are co-signers, you really may need to consider, if you are co-signed for a person who is not responsible and they consistently keep missing late payments, and it's really kind of out of your control, you may look to get your name off of that car. You need to either have them to trade that car in and you sign off so you can get out of that deal, because you can do that, or look to have them to sell the car. You can take a number of steps, have them to go and get their own loan, maybe go to a credit union, have them to join to refinance that car to get your name off. Because let me tell you, this will be a big area for you that if you're a co-signer, you cannot control. So you need to see about removing your name off of items as a co-signer off of a vehicle, because this will cost you points. The second part that is really going to change, which is a big factor, is the utilization. So as you can see, they're targeting the biggest factors. So what it is going to be with the 10T, stands for trending data. They're looking for trending data. So the way the system works now, it looks at your utilization, your debt, or what you're carrying on that card, to available credit. It looks like how much debt you have on your credit cards compared to available credit. What is that looking like for this month or when it calculates that score? You can affect that very quickly. If you pay that off the next month, then your utilization will not be high. You can change that. But with the new model, they're going to look at a history and an overall average. Okay, so they're going to look back 24 months to see how you paid those bills and what balances you were carrying. So think about it like this. We all been in class in elementary school and high school. So it's a difference when you take a test and you get a C, or you might even get an F for that test. But the next test, you get 100. And the next one after that, and after that. That teacher is grading individual tests. But what you will get your grade for the whole year is those tests put together. What is your average? This is what FICO 10T is going to do. It's going to look at your average on how you perform in the category of utilization. So it's just not going to look at that one snapshot. So if you are a person that's carrying high utilization, make sure at this point you guys got to get that down. You really do. Because I know it's in a pandemic, but you guys, if you don't get that down and you get caught by this wave, and you can have pretty decent credit and have higher utilization, or moderate utilization, but you're not going to get that opportunity to pay it down and affect your credit score the same when they roll this out. Whatever you did in your past is your past. And so we all know you can't change the past. So when that roll out, what your past performance have been will be your past performance. And it will be certain things that you can do to change it, but it will not give you the same effect. And for you to ride that off, it's going to take 24 months. So you guys, make sure you start reeling that in. It's very important for you guys to get knowledge. And I really this is why I preach education. A lot of people now, credit people say, oh, you need credit repair. You ain't got time. I'm telling you, if you don't know this information and you don't control your own spending habits, your own habits, no credit repair is going to do for you what your own good habits is. You have to start, because let's tell the truth. If they are looking for people with good habits, you got to keep it real if you are bad financially. If you have your cards maxed to the hills. Hi, Hector. Wonderful to see you. Hector is somebody I am working with, a client of mine right now. If you don't change your habits, you guys, moving forward, you're going to miss it. You're going to really jack yourself up for years now. Years. So they are already rolling this out, you guys. You got to make sure you control your situation. They are trying to remove that. Honestly, the industry hate credit repair. They really do. It's laws on the books that they made sure with the bureaus that you cannot get credit repair, and they don't have to even respond to anything coming from a credit repair on your behalf. So they are setting things in place to stop that. This is what they're doing. They are setting things in place to stop you. And another major item. I don't know how I forgot this point. Another big issue, personal loans. That trending data. They want to see your debt trending down. So take, for instance, if you're taking out a personal loan to pay off credit cards, like a lot of people do, which because sometimes you can go to, let's say, your credit union and get a cheaper interest rate, and then you pay down those cards. And now you have a personal loan, which is much cheaper, it's costing you less. That in this model is going to bring your score down. They do not want to see you having more debt. Personal loans are going to cost you. And think about it. This is an industry. The banks make money off of interest. They don't want you doing that. This is an opportunity. And like you said, I deal with dishonest creditors and learn a lot about their tricks. And it's absolutely true. They are wanting to put you in bondage. Point blank, period. So the way banks primarily make money is off of interest. And understand, they are looking because the U.S. before this pandemic, the average credit score was 703. That is not profitable for them. Trust and believe. They love subprime, or what that is called, really poverty kind of industry. Subprime makes more money because they can charge you more interest. So they are looking to put you in a subprime category because then they can justify charging you more interest, but still have the confidence that you will pay that debt back. So they are looking for loopholes and tricks to trap you. And the crazy part about banks, they don't want to lend you money when you need it. That is their MO. If you're not paying attention now, there's a big credit crunch, huge credit crunch going on for the business sector now, because they know businesses need funding. They know that. And what are they doing? They're reducing, because that's what they want to do. And you say you've been trying to get a repo off for years. Well, one of your best ways to attack a repo, if you want to reach out to me, I'll actually leave my information where you can call me and we'll discuss it to find out how it's reporting. But they love to do that. They love to keep items. They love to get you in this trap. So you have repos usually are a collection after a period of time, and they love that. So even now, with the way collections report, the current model, the way collections report, the longer a collection sit, the less it impacts your credit score. Because going back, the longer a late payment or an item sit, the less it impacts you. It's when you pay it and it updates, it brings your credit score down. So it is not wise to pay a collection without sending out a debt validation letter, because it's going to update as a paid collection and you're going to see your score drop. With this new model, they're going to start counting the past. That collection will add in to your debt balance in that trending data part. So they are looking to really loot people. And so what I want to really just express to people, use this window of time while you have it. You need to get your credit score at minimum over a 680. At minimum, you need to also make sure to be safe. I say to get it over 700. See these changes and have good payment history, you're going to see your credit score go up. So it's not just negative. If you adopt and know how to play this game moving forward, you'll see your credit score go up. But if you are one of those people that are not managing, especially your debt and your late payments, you're going to get jacked up. If you're looking to get a personal loan, not a good idea. I'm just telling you, not a good idea. Even having more debt, like vehicle loans, student loans, all of that is, and if it's going down, it'll get better, but having additional debt is going to really bring your credit score down. So this is, you have to learn how to maneuver through the matrix, and especially homeowners. I'm a homeowner, and there's occasionally where you'll see it now, your credit score go down, and what happens is when your escrow change, like sometimes your taxes go up and they'll add more on your mortgage payment or add more to it. That will make your credit score go down even more, because that's a trending data. So what it will do is, from now that it's higher, if it's another $11,000 higher, um, now that's going to bring your credit score down, and it really hurts your credit. And sometimes that's stuff you cannot control, because your local government may have went up on your taxes. And my home is in New Jersey. Your different people taxes is like $14,000. Some are 30,000, $50,000 a year in taxes, depending on what area. Even in urban areas, they have tax rate at 14,000, 10,000 a year. So any change in increasing your taxes could really bring down your credit score. So you just want to keep these items in mind. You want to know how to move forward, how to manage your debt, because a lot of people are going to look to change their credit score, but it's going to take a much longer period if you don't jump on the wave now. So I hope this information is helpful. Feel free, if you're making comments, I will be responding to you after this ends. If you have any more questions, right now, if you're looking to increase your credit score, if you don't know, I have a course on Teachable. I'll add the links, that how to boost your credit in 45 days. Especially if you're a person that is trying to move to get a higher credit score, you need to get on that course. If you want, it's always an option too. I do credit. I will do credit analyzation. She will respond. I'm sorry if I'm missing comments. I will definitely respond to everyone. Let me see if I can see the live chat. I apologize. I'll go back. But what you can do is, we'll go us one-on-one and go through your credit reports via Zoom. And I do analyze your credit with you. We see what your issues is, and increase your credit score and deal with your credit items. So, or we'll find out what's the best avenue for you to do that. If you have, if you know that you have collections right now, you can go to my website. We have debt validation letters. It's in my deluxe collection package. It'll be for medical collections and consumer collections. Also, if you have something that you need to dispute through the bureaus, we have a credit bureau dispute package. In my packages, I use affidavits, and I have a video discussing that, but I use affidavits for a reason, because it bypasses what the bureaus are trying to do. Like I mentioned earlier, they're kicking anything out, or they don't have to respond. If it looked like your letter is coming from a credit bureau, a credit repair company, they do not have to respond, and they will send you a response saying this is frivolous. It's a frivolous claim, so they won't even deal with your situation. Using affidavits bypass that. Also, if you have repossessions or dealing with bankruptcies or public records, I have packages to deal with that also. So hopefully this information is helpful, and I want to go through your questions if I can answer it for you guys. Said great information. Thank you. I appreciate that. Man, I've been trying to get a repo off for years. I'm gonna put my number in. Like I said, it'll be in the link. You might have to come back because my signal is very slow where I'm staying. So I will add that information. I'm trying to get my credit together It is wise to pay my bills off with credit cards immediately, pay them off. Yes, that is part of that data that they're doing is seeing how you pay your bills. So it will be wise not to carry balance over. You know, they will be watching that. So that is a really good question, and that is a valuable question, because that is part of the trending data. They want to see if you're carrying over balances, and they will do an average over a 2-year period. So you want to make sure you don't carry. Like I said, it goes back to the banks. They do not want to lend money to you when you need it. They do not want to lend money. You say, how can I get judgments off? I actually have a video. If you can just go through my YouTube channel, I have it labeled. It'll talk about bankruptcies. It's about the same avenue on how to deal with judgments and public records. The only thing, if you have a judgment via for um, for evictions. If you got a judgment for evictions, also if you have a judgment that you did not, if you're trying to go and buy a home, judgments are different. You can reach out to me, because there's two different aspects when you are looking at judgments. If you're trying to do certain things, a lot of people believe, okay, if I get a judgment off my credit report, I can purchase a house. No, they're not going to do that because they're looking beyond your credit report. They're looking into the system. So if you're dealing with a situation like that, you're trying to buy a house, that getting that judgment off of your credit report is not going to get you a house. They are not going to allow you to purchase a house, because whoever had that judgment could put a lien on the house. But if you're going to get an apartment, buy a car, and it depends with apartments, believe it or not. And I'm going to let a lot of people know this, because I'm a landlord. Make and do some deals with your landlord if you're behind on your rent. Do not let your landlord start the process of eviction in the court system. And this is how it's going to go with the judgment. If you don't understand, when you file that application, that rental application, that LexisNexis, they're using that in those to find out your public records if you in the court system have even actions taken against you. So if you have not paid you on your rent, try to make out a deal with your landlord and try to make some payments before any action be filed against you. Because let's say you go to court and you or you make a deal before you go to court to pay your rent, that stays in that system. That action was taken against you, and a lot of people are not getting approved for apartments because of that. So you want to make sure that even now, even with apartments, they are stepping their game up. And if that judgment is there and it's not showing in your credit report, LexisNexis is another CRA, credit reporting agency, and they have that information. So just getting items off your credit report is not sometimes the only way to go. You have to depend on what you're trying to do. That can still be a stumbling block. You can reach out to me and I can get some information and give you even more details maybe on how to deal with it, because it depends on what kind of judgment it is. If you're getting a car, a car loan, you might can remove that off and get a better car loan just off your credit reports. Most car lenders are not going that deep, long as they don't see it on your credit report. But when it comes down to getting a house and now even getting an apartment, they may pick up through LexisNexis. So you can dispute items off of LexisNexis. You can go and check out what I said about bankruptcies, and it talks more in depth on that video. So I hope all of you guys are doing well, staying safe. I hope this was informational, and I look forward to any comments that you have. I will be replying to those that I missed. I appreciate you taking your time to really tune in. I apologize because I have a lot of people here on YouTube that I haven't been doing more videos, and I will be doing that, giving y'all information. People on Facebook, I go live often, but if you want a group setting while you're working on your credit, I have a Facebook group, a quick guide on how to boost your credit group. So feel free to join us, and I'll leave that detail also. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Be blessed.